Hello, 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 and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for being here. Oh, today I may offend somebody because, yes, I'm going to call you lazy. I don't know that that's really the right word. Maybe you don't wonder a lot about things, but I like to think a lot about things. I don't like to just do what somebody has told me to do, which is maybe why I really like the millennials and the Gen Zers so much, is because they question everything and then they research it. And I'm a researcher, but the majority of our population is not. The majority of people out there are like, "Oh, my employer told me that they're gonna give me a 401k. This is where I put money. The financial guru said that I should be putting money into a 401k. Fantastic. I will. I'm supposed to be putting money into an IRA because my tax accountant told me that I should be putting money there at the end of the year to save money on taxes. If I'm a high income earner, my accountant told me I should max out my 401k." We never question it. We don't question, well, is that 401k guaranteed? Can I borrow against it? Is it liquid? Can I use the money whenever I want, however I want? Do I have control of it? What funds are they invested in? Are the funds they're invested in legit? How long have they been around? Who's my financial advisor? Is he active? Does he know what he's doing? Where does he have his money? All those questions, because those are all the same questions I get. "Mary Jo, what's the financial rating of the company? Mary Jo, how long does it take to get access to my money? Mary Jo, where do you have your money? What has the company invested their money?" All the questions that I get asked, why are we not asking our financial advisors those questions? Why aren't we asking our employers those questions? Why are people wondering about their money? I don't understand that. Because I questioned it long before I heard about infinite banking. I questioned the stock market. I questioned how to make money in the stock market. I questioned my employers about what they were investing in, and they were accountants. They were accountants. I worked for an accounting firm. And you know what they told me? "Oh, I don't know, Mary Jo, just pick some." They had no faith. And I suppose in their brains, they thought, well, you're so young, it doesn't matter. You've got time to, stay in there. Really? Because here's another one. With your 401k, stay in there for the long haul. It'll all work out in the end. But in life insurance, everybody's like, well, how much am I earning compared to how much I'm borrowing? We're talking about interest rates. What am I earning compared to what I'm paying the company to borrow money? So we're thinking short term, like one note. We're thinking about what that one little piece is, and we're not thinking long term, but yet in a 401k, we're thinking long term because that's what we're told. Think long term and, stay in there for the long haul because it'll all come back just to fall again. They don't tell you that piece, do they? And so, why are we not questioning that? That's what I want to know. I feel like right now in this country, we are just blindly doing whatever we're asked to do in every aspect of life. I don't care what it is. I feel like so many people are not questioning anything, which is why we have gotten to where we're at. Because we're just not going to question. We're just going to do whatever everybody thinks is right. We're just going to scream and yell about whatever the media tells us to scream and yell about. We don't actually think about it. We spend more time listening to stupid stuff on social media and the news. We don't just shut everything off and let our brains do the work. I don't remember who said this to me or who made the comment. I don't know. I don't even remember if it was said to me. But somewhere along the lines, I heard someone say, when I shut off the news, I became more objective. Oh boy. Is that not the truth? I haven't watched the news in years. Years. Like, I'm not 100% disconnected because it's on. It's on when my husband's sitting in the living room with me because he watches the news all the time. But I can hear a little bit in the background, but I'm not getting involved. I know what's going on. I know where my beliefs are. But here is the one thing that I have learned since not watching the news. Everybody will pin one president against another, when in fact, everybody does the same thing to every president. I don't care what side of the aisle you are on, the games are the same. It just depends who's the new target. And so I am looking at that and going, whoa, I did not see that before. Before I quit watching any of that stuff, I never noticed that. We are not thinking. We are just doing whatever somebody tells us to do. We are doing what the majority of people are doing. It is very comfortable to have a conversation with our friends about what are you getting for a rate of return in your 401k? What are you getting for a rate of return? But what we're not having a conversation about is what are you doing for cash flow? How much was your cash flow? What did you make last year? How's that new business going? How did you start that business? What were the hurdles you went through? Would you suggest somebody else do it? No, we're not talking about that at family gatherings. We're just talking about all the problems in the world. We're talking about nothing constructive. How about we help each other build? Yeah? How about that? We've had a lot of family gatherings because of the holidays. And one of my family members wants to do a possible Airbnb. Well, I have an Airbnb. I am more than happy to share the knowledge, right? But just little increments of that knowledge was to be shared because that one family member that wanted it, nobody else cared to listen around. So all the conversation got interrupted and all whatever. And maybe they weren't 100% ready to have that conversation. But instead of talking about where we can go financially as a family, we're going to talk about sports and sports cards and where we're going on vacation and all the things. Go on to social media. What do you see? Sex everywhere. Everywhere. Everybody's talking about it online, giving their 2 cents about it. It is jaw-dropping to me. That is something extremely private, and yet we hold that less private than our finances. And that's something. Why? Because of the noise. The noise is saying it's okay to do that. Everybody else is doing it. Just do what everybody else is doing. People, are we just a bunch of sheep? Are we just going to follow everybody? Why don't you just be the black sheep and figure out what is everybody not doing? Start asking the hard questions and start thinking about stuff. Shut the noise off and start thinking about things constructively, or fill your brain with questions and people that want to at least try to solve a problem constructively. So many people get frustrated with clients that want to know all the numbers. And if a client is doing their due diligence, I am super happy because that client understands what infinite banking is and why they have it. But if you are going to be a client and you want to do your due diligence on 401ks and IRAs and you want to run all the numbers, let me tell you, the numbers are hard to run when you are comparing apples to oranges. Kudos to you for wanting to do it and do your research because that's just what I got done preaching about, right? It comes down to 2 or 3 things: liquidity, control, and guarantees. 3 things. Is there liquidity in a 401k? Well, you can borrow against some of it, so there's a little bit of liquidity. Control. Do you have control of the payback terms, of the interest rate. No, you don't have control of any of that stuff. What happens if you quit your business and you owe money to your 401k? Are there guarantees? No, there's no guarantees in a 401k. There's no guarantees in an IRA. There's no guarantees in anything invested in the market. Yet that is where we're putting our money. And so we have to remember the big picture. And Nelson always said, infinite banking is a practice in imagination, reason, logic, and prophecy. Imagination. How am I going to use the money? What is this going to look like outside of the policy, the unseen? Okay? Imagination. Reason. Why would this be better? I'm going to have liquidity of my money. Logic. Well, that just makes sense because I can go do X, Y, and Z. And prophecy. Now, he didn't talk about prophecy a lot, even though Nelson's whole agenda, he basically had two agendas in life. One was to spread Christianity, and two was Austrian economics. Now, prophecy, I'm going to say that Nelson wanted us to all have a little bit of faith that we are going to be taken care of and we are going to do the Lord's work because we are not going to give our money to a system that is corrupt and devilish. Because if we're giving money into a 401k or IRA, we are in bed with the government. We are doing business with the government because who controls the stock market? Those with money, right? Have you all looked at or watched the video, The Big Short? You can see what's happening. It is definitely worth watching if you haven't. I got a little bit squirrely again today. I tried not to. This is actually the third take of this. But we have to use our reason and our logic. We have to wonder, is what everybody else doing works? Because I don't believe it is. If it's working, why are retirees scraping to not spend any extra money? Why are they working their part-time jobs? Is retirement even supposed to be a thing? No, it's not. It was a made-up thing to get rid of old people, to bring the boomers in and get people out of the workforce, to make room for new people coming in. Yes, it was made up. And guess what? It's not working. So now we have this thing in our head that says we need to retire at 65, no different than this thing that says we should be putting money in a 401k and we should not be starting our own businesses and we should be ignoring cash flow. All those things are ignored. And when something is ignored, you should probably ask why and do what the other people are doing. I just did a podcast on this not that long ago. What is Dave Ramsey doing? He is not living below his means. Dave Ramsey is creating cash flow. So if you want to take any advice from Dave Ramsey, watch what the man is doing. He's a brilliant business owner and he is making money off of people that can't manage their money. Start managing your money correctly and then figure out what he's doing to create cash flow. Do you think that his daughter is doing anything differently? No. Watch what people are doing. The extreme wealthy are not putting money into a 401k and an IRA. They are creating cash flow. Yet, here we are looking at putting money into an IRA and a 401k. We think that's the only way to go. We don't question it, but we question everything else we see. If you're going to question everything else, you better question this too. And don't be the lazy money manager that just allows the outside to tell you what to do. And if you have those people in your family, make sure you have this conversation with them. The first time that friends or family tell you you're an idiot because you are listening to this podcast and you read this book on infinite banking and they say you are a moron, question who the moron is. Is it the person not questioning anything? Because how is that working out? Okay, guys, I think I got my point across. Let me know if you have comments, questions, concerns. You can always leave me a message at themjhotline.com if you want to have a topic talked about or if you have questions about any of this. themjhotline.com. Or email me, maryjo at withoutthebank.com. Either way, I will get them. All right, you guys, you have a fantastic rest of your day.